For Lampanelli is in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Lampanelli.
That's right,
Lampanelli. How you doing?
What did I tell you when you came in? Sit down and shut up.
Exactly. Hey, and Lou is such a brain-dead douche that he was like, what are you saying? That's right. It's the name of my show, you dummy.
No, I know the name of your show. I was asking if he knew.
No, I know. Look at Lou looking like he has AIDS. It's fantastic. I mean, AIDS is nothing to joke about, but if you saw this guy, he's very slender. And I enjoy
slender.
that
Yes.
as someone who is weight conscious. I say, okay, Lou, go for it. And what did you do? What did you do other than contract a virus to lose weight?
Wow.
Because everybody's doing that.
What did I do? I don't know. I stopped boozing, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Did you actually quit drinking?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you because I hate booze. I've always hated booze, never liked it.
Yeah.
Never liked the drugs, nothing.
What?
Food was always my thing. So I'm so proud of you that you kicked the booze.
Yeah, well, it's not like for any reason
No, it's because your wife said she's going to divorce you. I mean, and your wife, first of all, has always been way too hot for you. We all know that.
We know that.
I mean, you're hot for radio, but not for TV or any other medium, which is good because you'll never be on those.
Way out of his league. Way out of his
I mean,
league.
she is really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I follow you on Instagram because I'm like, oh, your wife is really pretty. It gives hope to all.
Yes, and please use the mobile app to send us questions for our guest, Lisa Lampanelli. We're going to ask her some of these questions. We're excited to do that. So you download it for free at Google Play or the App Store, and then hit the chat feature and send the message. Dr. Evil already has a question in the queue here, so we'll make sure that we get that for Lisa.
I don't believe I-95 is actually the home of rock and roll.
You don't think so?
I have to say it's not.
Where does it reside?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
And I don't believe you, Ethan. I believe you're culturally appropriating.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's like when, because I try to be very woke now because I'm the world's oldest millennial, because I really do feel like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I got in trouble because I said, so-and-so is my spirit animal. Johnny Lawrence on Cobra Kai is my spirit animal, and someone said you culturally appropriated spirit animal from the Native Americans, meaning that's a sacred symbol to them. So now I can't say it no more.
I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked Lou many times.
Yeah.
Okay, Lou doesn't know anything, so ask me.
What's wrong with you?
Lots. But I'm trying to be a better woke person because I want people to like me. I want them to go, she didn't do no harm. Because I want to not do any harm to people.
Do you think that came from years of people feeling like you were mean and then you felt it back? Like people talked to you a certain way because of what you did on stage?
Not really. I think really physicians take an oath, first do no harm, and I really feel like in life we have to do the same thing. Even if I don't give one more cent to charity, even if I don't do any good for people, at least let me not harm anyone. Let me not go outside my house and just start screaming at people.
Look at our Lisa's growing up.
Well, a little bit. Not enough that on stage I don't, blast a few people, but they deserve it. I was telling Lou at the break when you were out smoking or doing whatever you do.
No, I went to get coffee. I don't
how
smoke.
dare you?
Methamphetamine.
Hey, did Lou quit smoking?
No.
Oh, okay. That's all right, but you quit drinking, so that's
one
good.
thing at a time.
Yeah.
We're taking it one thing at a time. Now it's Starburst is my big...
Starburst.
That's my big
Wait,
thing.
the candy?
Yeah.
What are you, 5?
Yep.
What an idiot. I got some
What an
Sour Patch
idiot.
Kids in the car.
Yeah,
You're gonna-
Do you really? Because you're going to have to
I
run those over
actually
here.
do.
Share. I'll
That's-
bring some Starburst in. I got some in the car so we can all share together.
Is there a possibility I can get some traffic in here?
Let's get the traffic.
All right.
Let's get the traffic real quick. Let's start out with some listener questions for our special guest and our friend Lisa Lampanelli.
I have
in
one
studio.
question before.
Oh, right. I knew that was coming.
Where is my show and how can they see it?
Oh, yes.
Got it right here.
Not on.
And what is the description of my show, which is not
Lisa
stand-up comedy?
Lampanelli.com for tickets and information. So Lisa's Sit Down and Shut Up show.
Let me ask you, April 24th.
April 24th.
April 24th at the Fairfield Theater
Theater.
Company. And it's also a live stream, so if you're afraid of the COVID, even though there's socially distant tickets, you can also get tickets for that at the live stream at lisalampanelli.com. It's not stand-up, but it's funny
Let
as
me
F.
ask you a question, because I was at one of your
Yes,
shows.
my friend.
The Waterbury Palace.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Is it the Waterbury Palace? It was in Waterbury. Is it the same kind of show?
Nope. What I decided right before COVID hit, before anyone knew that was going to happen, I said, I want to do a show where somebody and I just have a conversation about all these issues that lead into stories about our
You had a lot of people there.
Yeah. So here we go. I said, oh, sorry, I got to turn my phone off because I'm very popular. It's
Yes,
Johnny
I know.
from Cobra Kai.
show.
So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do this show where I sit down and just talk, and it ends up that it also ends up the audience asks questions. I coach them because, as you know, I'm a half-ass life coach who gives questionable advice, which no one should ever take. And then at the end, I do a roast because, honestly, there's some people who deserve to be roasted. Yeah. And those people are like Ted Cruz's beard, things like that closet case Lindsey Graham. Sure. And people like that deserve a roast. Yeah. So, you know what? I can't do a show without a little roast in it. That's what the show consists of at
Well,
Fairfield.
You're so good at it. So that, it should be included.
You can't deny who you are.
But I feel like in the beginning, when you made this transition and you retired from stand-up and you were doing the positivity and the life coaching, I feel like there was a little bit of you that was saying, I'm completely done with that. And then we saw a transformation where you said, I am who I am.
Right.
It's got to be part of the show.
Well, what do you do is, if roasting is something you're really good at, which very few people are and can really do it well, we can name probably on two hands the people in history who kill at those things. You go, yeah, but let me just roast the people who actually deserve it. So instead of going up and getting Alec Baldwin or these dumb celebrities, what good does that do? It does better to say, look, these other people are evil and terrible, and we have to make fun of them.
But sometimes that's harder when you feel like the character is obvious to attack. Right. But the joke maybe isn't easy to construct.
But the joke, that's why it took a year in COVID to come up with the right jokes. You know what I mean? So they had to be tried, and figured out, with friends on Instagram, whatever, to get, they have to be haymakers so they're not obvious jokes.
Other than you, and you could make a case, and I probably would, that you're the best roaster of all time. But other than you, who was your favorite, especially from that time period where Comedy Central was doing the roasts? I have a guess. I'm going to hold it in my head as to who you might answer, but your favorite roaster other than yourself?
Well, I love Jeff Ross.
Yeah.
Because we're friends, and also because he's really good. But you want to know what's weird on the roast? Greg Giraldo,
that's it.
Even though we were not friends, and actually I've talked about how we just hated each other for some reason. I don't even know why.
Really?
I still haven't figured out why. He always... They made him not look as good on the roast, on the televised version. He always killed harder in the room, and it never translated as well.
Was he nasty? Was he bad to production staff?
No. I don't think they did it on purpose. Oh. I think, though, in the room, you are literally on the floor crying. And then I'd watch it on TV, and I go, why does Jeff Ross seem funnier than Greg? They're both killed, but Jeff seems funnier. Let me tell you something. Giraldo was one of the kings.
Yeah.
It was all over. And what sucks too, Nick DiPaolo, Jim Norton, those guys were amazing, but they didn't have them on that much because they didn't have as much credits.
Okay.
They weren't as famous. Jim Norton, I'm telling you, pound for pound, watch the Gene Simmons roast. If you just go to YouTube and watch the Gene Simmons roast, Jim Norton is so funny. Plus, I was happy that Jim Norton asked me to put one of my jokes in his book that I said about him, which was, look at this dais. And I named all the ugly people on the dais. I go, a dais is ugly when they invite Jim Norton as eye candy. And he goes, I love that joke. I put it in my book? And I was like, hell yeah.
You know what I love about Nick is that, they say that kind of with telling jokes, it's an act of aggression. You feel something even angrier than the joke represents. I feel like Nick is just mean. He's
genuinely angry.
He's genuinely angry.
Which is I think that is a drawback, but also he's true to himself.
Yeah.
He stiffed us.
What?
No, I love Nick.
He stiffed us. I don't like him.
What do you mean?
He was supposed to come in
live,
and he didn't call.
Bit.
No.
He didn't show up.
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Where
it happens,
in life, and it really bothers me. I go, I was just ghosted. I was ghosted. I ghosted a few people in COVID. I used COVID to ghost people because I was like, we all had an excuse to get rid of friends.
By the way, Lisa Lampanelli in studio.
Yeah, fantastic former comedian, but terrific storyteller. You can see her in Fairfield. I used COVID to weed out the people I didn't like anymore. Because did you guys notice you didn't miss a lot of people?
No, I didn't miss anybody or anything.
Yeah. I don't want to ever go out again. I love staying home. I love being with my two little dumb dogs. Dude, isn't it the best?
I love being home.
If anyone says to me, want to go out for coffee, I want to shoot myself in the face.
Believe it or not,
I don't like it.
It has helped. not that we needed any help, my relationship with my wife of 44 years.
I agree. I think it broke a lot of people up, but it made good relationships stronger. A friend of mine's a divorce lawyer. She said business is amazing. I'm like, good for you, dude. But also, if you're not meant to be with somebody, that's a way to find out.
It'll wake you up to that, sure.
I found, too, I didn't hate the COVID thing. Well, my mother did get COVID, 91 years old. And she survived, thank God.
Good,
do you believe this?
Awesome.
They said that people over 90 are killing it because they've been through everything.
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
I mean, she went through the Great
She probably
Depression.
built up immunity to unbelievable levels.
And raised me.
Yeah.
I mean, how much worse can it be?
Is she a big fan of yours? Like, I like really supportive of your career?
Dude, when I did Radio City and Carnegie Hall, both nights, her and my dad were in the front row.
Filled with pride.
And I called her the C word. I was, look at this old C word. When are you going to die so I can get the house? She stands up like a celebrity and waves to the crowd.
Great.
6,000 people at Radio City. Oh, my God. It was so cute.
That's so cool.
But
when they're
here's the weird thing. Like, because she's in the assisted living now, because they have to take care of her.
Right.
Dude, I have to make all her phone calls to the utilities and pretend I'm her. So it's a great excuse to yell at people on the phone because they think I'm her. So I put on old lady voice and I'm like, stop, you're talking too fast. They go, you do not have to yell to me. I go, I'm not yelling. And they go, okay, like she's just 91. We have to let her go.
That's great.
But that's a way to get my groove on.
That's great. I want to jump in with a
I'm sorry, you have a question?
Listener question here. So, hey, Lisa, we're proud of what you're doing. Southern Rock Joe checking in. One question, George Carlin or Richard Pryor?
Oh, wow. I was never a comedy fan. Never listened to any comedy records growing up. Watched only the Dean Martin roasts.
Okay.
So I have no opinion on comedy at all from the 50s, 60s, etc.
Do you need me to roll back the tape of what we just talked about for the last 10 minutes?
Well, but I
you
do.
might have some opinions.
Well, but I do enjoy the roast stuff. That was like what I viewed as stand-up.
Right.
So, I mean, here, this question's a bad question because if I say Carlin, then I'm a racist. Okay, if I say Pryor, then I'm just pandering to the black community. Wow. I think they were both terrific in their own way. But if you ask me, pound for pound, if I had to watch one comic the rest of my life other than myself, it's going to be Rickles.
Question for Lisa. All the penises she's had the opportunity to see, touch, and make grow, does she think Americans have the biggest? Dr. Evil from New Milford.
Listen, as if I would have had sex with a foreigner. Just kidding. No. But honestly, you know, we would joke a lot on the roast about volume of penises for myself, Whitney Cummings, Nikki Glaser. Like, they always act like we're big whores because at the roast, you get to do jokes.
That's all you hear.
Well, at the roast, you got 6 categories for women. Dumb, unfunny, whore, fat, ugly, and old. I always got fat, ugly, and old, and whore. Thank God nobody did, because it has to have some level of like sting to it.
Sure.
Nobody's going to believe I'm stupid. Nobody's going to believe I'm not funny.
Right.
So they have to attack those. I swear to God, I've seen way less peepees than people would want to. But now I'm glad I saw the ones I did, because at least I saw the Cheeto curve at one point.
There you go.
I know, and that's all you really need to see.
So wait, so the Cheeto curve was a pro or a con? I'm not getting
I didn't like
result
it.
here. Didn't like it.
Listen, Cheetos are for eating.
So
that's
if
all I'm
it
saying.
hooks to the west or the east, for that matter, you're not
nobody
into
likes
it.
that.
No
Got
hooking.
it. Excellent. No hooking whatsoever.
All right.
We'll come back with Lisa
We
Lampanelli live in studio in just a couple of minutes here on the Ethan and Lou Show on I-95.
Great to have you back again.
Oh, I love you, man.
Back in a second.
Lisa Lampanelli in studio this morning. I want to talk about television coming up in the next segment because she's a great fan of some amazing TV shows that I am also a fan of, and you likely are too. You understand? You following the show?
I understand.
I have a confession to make.
What?
Ethan has a confession.
Never watched or wanted to watch Cobra Kai.
Oh my God! Well, maybe you're not the right age group because you're a tiny. Well, you're about 11 years older than me,
Right.
So you would have not been obsessed with the Karate Kid when it came out. So when the actual movie came out years ago, I mean, my age group was obsessed with it, and that's why a lot of it's so popular with my age group now. You probably were like, that was pretty queer back then, and I don't like it now.
Here's the difference between you and Lisa.
Okay.
What?
She understands.
I do.
I called you stupid.
You call me stupid.
Well, I don't. I think anyone who doesn't give a good show a chance is probably robbing themselves of an opportunity for some humor.
See how she did that?
Well, let me give you an example.
Okay.
He's never watched Seinfeld, and he's watched Grey's Anatomy
I have
3
watched
times through.
I have to respect both of those, and I'll tell you why.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld was great, and it still is. Grey's, I've never watched, but it's on my list because I hear I will cry like a bitch. Will I cry like a bitch?
Yes, you will.
All right, I'm
bitch
watching.
crying.
And we are into the 17th season.
That's crazy. Like, you don't, there's a reason things are on 17 years. But also, Lou, I don't think that's your wheelhouse, Grey's. I don't think so.
No, you're not.
No. Like, if you had to watch one show the rest of your life and it's the only show you could watch,
The Office.
what would it be? Oh,
The
would
Office.
it? Want to know? I missed the boat on every one of those shows. I've never seen The Office, Community, Parks and Rec, Superstore, that brand of comedy, and I heard they're great. So I'll retire someday in earnest, sit there drooling into a bucket watching The Office.
The Office, definitely. Now, the other ones you mentioned are a dramatic drop down. Parks and Rec is there. It's
Yeah.
like right under it. And then Community and what else did you say? Superstore?
Park and Rec?
They're way, they're good.
Yeah.
Right.
But they can't touch The Office.
Yeah,
Or
from
Comedic
what I
Rec.
hear, people, they have T-shirts of this office.
Oh,
they
This
enjoy
Office.
this office very much.
Is there any chance?
We're hearing good things about
any
this office.
chance I can get some traffic
Sure.
going?
Oh,
on?
yeah, because there's a lot of traffic.
Lisa Lampanelli has a show 1 month from today.
It is? Is it the 24th today?
It
Yeah.
is, yeah. 8 p.m. at the Fairfield Theater. You can buy tickets on her website, lisalampanelli.com. We're joined by Lisa Lampanelli.
Hey, listen, let me ask you a question, because they live stream that show too, and people buy tickets for cheaper, which I don't think is fair because you still
That's
get
not
the
fair.
show, so F them. But anyway, does that mean I have to start the show on time?
No.
Ethan's like, yes, I'm
do
a
you mean,
professional.
Because it sends an alert. You know, it depends
and
on where
says,
they
oh,
stream
we'll
it.
sign on in 10 minutes. Because I like to hold
Yeah.
for 10 minutes.
Do you?
I like the people
To
that
build
sit
up
there
the
and, thank you.
anticipation.
Thank you.
Let them get a little more lubed up. Do they sell booze there?
They do sell booze there, I believe. I don't know.
right.
That's a C block to happiness, by the way. I don't booze it, but I like my popcorn at the movies. A few months ago, when the movie theaters opened up, I went. Concessions were closed. I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, what are you doing
What do
there?
you want? How do you get through the promising young woman without bag of popcorn? This is what I want to know.
Yeah, you could do it at home in your underwear and actually be comfortable. You're there
I
for
don't
the
do
popcorn.
anything in my underwear.
All
Do you
right, I knew that was
understand? I'm fully clothed all the time.
Look at Dad. He
Listen,
is too.
I know, Ethan, it doesn't matter. Don't even worry. Even if you lost whatever weight you think you need to,
Yeah.
you wouldn't walk around naked anyway. Because I can't stand it. Suppose I pass a mirror, I'll see a flaw. I don't need my day ruined by a pimple on my ass.
He's been trying to get to
think-
bring my nipples
Yeah,
out.
I
and not
think-
just-
Okay, no,
Couple
don't
of
do
things.
that.
No.
No, you're too old to change.
We want to see. People are clamoring
No
to
one
see these
wants to
nipples.
see.
We all think
Why
that
are
you
they
have
weird?
big T-saucer areolas is
Okay,
number
that's
one.
so gross.
Isn't
And
it
he's so-
gross?
He's
Yeah.
so self-deprecating that I believe that he has a massive penis also. So we're looking to
I
get a look-
guarantee you he does.
I know, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I guarantee you don't.
Right.
And I will say, speaking of nipples, this pisses me off.
Thank
I
you,
love
Lisa.
my dogs more than anything. You see
Sure.
them on Instagram,
You're a big
Parker
dog
and
fan.
Peggy,
You have
they're
seven,
amazing.
two or three.
Two.
Right.
Every time Parker steps over me, steps on a nipple, and it freaking hurts. And I have to hate him for a second. And, and they're not even
doesn't
sensitive
know.
anymore. I know, but I always go, God! And then you can't hate them because they're rescue dogs.
Why Parker?
Parker, after Sarah Jessica Parker. And I used to joke when
I knew
I
it was
was
gonna be a good
very
answer.
mean. I used to joke and say because they're both ugly cute.
Yeah.
But that is not true. Parker's not ugly cute.
What kind of dogs?
Well, I don't know what he is because they're rescues.
Oh,
So
okay.
I know he's a Yorkie Chihuahua mix probably. But Peggy's this little pathetic 5-pound Chihuahua that they found in a hoarding situation with 17 freaking dogs in Tennessee.
God.
And I rescued that little bitch, and she's ungrateful because she sits there and ignores me. And to that I say I'm giving her back, although I won't.
You got me stuck on Sarah Jessica Parker now. I feel like it's the tale of two faces.
Listen,
You go back to L.A. Story,
Listen.
and we're talking about a gorgeous young woman. And then I don't wanna
think
be
what
the-
happens is she is very attractive. I think she's like me, not a classic beauty, but unarguably gorgeous. No, but she's like kind of odd looking and interesting looking.
What about the husband? Matthew Broderick.
Gay Matthew
Ferris
Broderick.
Bueller. Ferris Bueller.
I always say he's gay, and I think that's a terrible thing that I say. But
Because
I have
it's
my
the whisper
thoughts.
that's out there,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I know. It's like you hear things, but, am I here to pass rumors? Yes. No, but I don't know. They've been married so long. If you marry a gay guy, go for it.
Do you feel, because your shows, and we've been over this a little bit, but stand-up comedy, you were the queen of mean. That was your nickname, right? And you gave it to people. Now it's completely opposite, but not really. So you're doing positivity, you're doing life coaching, you're trying to make folks feel better about. So when somebody comes to your show, do you have somebody who, let's say, was taken by somebody else? Somebody knows you and has expectations for your show, but they bring somebody who doesn't know you.
Well, what we do is we kind of try to do enough press that people know that it's still going to be a funny show, but without blasting the audience.
Okay.
So, like the last show we did, we tried it out in Philly 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not one heckle, not one drunk. They had a huge security guy who was great to look
That's
at.
Philly.
By the way.
That's surprising. A good-looking fella, huh?
Yeah, even though I'm emotionally shut down from the waist down, this guy was hot.
Really?
And didn't even have to use him. So I feel like, okay, people kind of get that they're going to laugh, but they shouldn't yell stuff.
Right.
And I also think the format, it's me sitting down having a conversation with another comic or a radio personality. It doesn't lend itself to people yelling.
Yeah.
Right.
But then the roast, when I'm behind the podium all powerful, they're not going to yell at that either. So I kind of like get to do sit-down comedy without hearing.
So you have a
crap from the audience.
conversation with another comic on stage for your show.
Yeah, a gay guy. Believe it or not,
Is it
I'm hanging with the gays.
Is it the gentleman who was at the show at the Waterbury?
No, I got a different one.
A different gay guy.
He's a Greek. He's a Greek, which means they're gay.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, you're going to get an email about that.
yeah.
Oh, my God. Not all Greeks are gay and own diners. Yes, they are.
And see, I didn't say it. You
No,
know?
you didn't say it.
I mean, there are stereotypes for a reason. And Gus, my Greek.
Yeah.
Gus,
says,
my Greek.
Yeah,
Gus,
says,
my Greek, okay.
My Greek gay says, absolutely, I'm right on that. So I have the sign off on Gus.
Now,
Okay.
I wanted to get to this because I keep mentioning it and we
Yes.
don't get to it. You're a great television show fan, and you have great taste, in my opinion. You
I
got
do.
Handmaid's Tale, Cobra Kai. I don't want to ask you which one you like better. Why do you like The Handmaid's Tale? Because that one is dark. I love it. Don't get me wrong.
You gotta
Dark.
watch something to cleanse the palate after Handmaid's Tale. Like
Sure.
when it comes out, and if you see an episode, you gotta watch an episode of something light and funny
Oh, yeah.
afterwards, which is why
Right.
you should not watch.
We had to stop watching it
because you'll never laugh.
We had
at
to stop
that.
watching it.
It's
because
hardcore.
Mindy said this could happen someday.
Oh,
And that was it. We were done.
Yeah, it's really close to what could
Right.
go wrong. So I think it's so jarring, but it's so good. Sometimes you got to force your way through just to go, oh, it's such high quality.
What's her
I
name?
gotta
What's the
see this
star's
thing.
name?
Oh, my girl, Elizabeth's
Kate-
mom.
Elizabeth
man.
Moss.
Let me tell you what I love
She's
about
so
her.
good.
Probably best actress in the world. I named my dog Peggy after her character in Mad Men, Peggy Olsen.
Oh.
Because I loved Mad Men. I
Mad
still
Men
do.
was great.
It's the balls.
Here's what's sick about me with Mad Men. I look at, what's his name?
Draper, and you know that's you.
And I go, yeah, here's a guy I can identify with.
Right.
But Don Draper is a terrible person.
No, he isn't, because I bought several books. There have been a lot of books written about the psychology behind the characters of each one
Really?
of them. I mean, it's a deep show
Yes.
about their damage. He's not a bad person. He's just flawed. They all are. Peggy Olsen, I feel the same way. I feel like, ooh, if I was born back then, that would have been me. She would have gotten the man's job, and she would have been a ball buster.
But that is what you did.
And then find love at the end, which I did not. But I may at 80.
But
I
you
may
did-
be in the nursing home and see some old guy with a cane that I could get his inheritance. I might find
But
love
if you
too.
identify with that character, separate pull the industries out of it. I mean,
That's true.
It's not apples to apples because of the industry, but you did that very thing. It's a male-dominated field that you
Comedy
went into, and
was.
you won.
Well, let me tell you about this. Did you hear about this documentary coming out on Hulu called Hysterical? It's coming out April 2nd.
It's about women comedians,
Women
right?
comics. And I hate documentaries about comedy because they never capture it. This effing thing does. It's
You
April
saw it.
2nd. I had to watch it, and I was dreading it because I had to watch it to do press about it. Dude, I called my manager. I said, this is spectacular.
Nailed it.
And honestly, they didn't freaking pay us, which thanks. But I would never mention it if it wasn't good. It is absolutely great, but here's the thing. Every woman in it, other than me, had been either Me Too'd or they'd been, raped or whatever. I mean, horrible things. I said, the universe took care of me. I didn't have none of these Me Too's, which, by the way, gives you low self-esteem if nobody's ever tried anything with you. We'll put that aside.
Okay.
But, dude, it is where I was in this male-dominated field before women were even in it in earnest, other than Joan Rivers and those people. So somehow I sidestepped these women who got abused and these women who were just battle axes like Joan Rivers, and I snuck in as a male comic who was actually a woman.
15 years ago, it was still fashionable for male comedians and male audience members to say women aren't funny.
Yeah, and honestly...
And it just wasn't true then, and it's certainly not true now.
I know, there are a lot of badass women out there now. I'm really psyched, like, because I'll watch, like, Nikki Glaser.
You were featured, give us some of the people who were featured in this.
Yeah, Nikki Glaser, me, Margaret Cho, Kathy Griffin. I mean, and then there's lesser known women comics who are just had been through horrendous things and are actually funny that I'd never heard of before. So it's a really good documentary if you want to go, wow. But I didn't fit the narrative, because a lot of the narrative in the thing is like, oh my God, look how hard it was for us. And I was like, I kind of had it easy. I wouldn't say easy, but I would say I sidestepped a lot of the pitfalls that unfortunately a lot of women had to go through. Because I was just this weird, funny, fat chick, and it was fine.
But even though you weren't sexually assaulted, I mean, it's not as if you didn't have a tough road just being a female comedian.
I guess. I just always thought it was easier for me because I got noticed because, that's the one woman who kills the room. Like, I remember at the Comic Strip, which was a big club in the city at the time, like the manager would be like, oh, the crowd tonight. That's how he talked. He wasn't just that effect. He was very effete. He'd go, oh, the crowd's terrible. Go up and fix that. You know,
but
so
he knew
I was
you
always
could.
looked as like a haymaker, like somebody who could make things happen. So I love that.
Did you ever get notes from a comedy club owner?
I did, didn't I? Are you actually asking me this because I've told you a story about
no,
it?
because I've gotten notes in the past.
Well, I don't blame them because you're
inarguably
not funny.
All right, well, let's set me aside. I know a lot of comedians.
No, you're right.
They get furious about it.
Well, I actually had a booker right in the beginning say to me, did you go to college? And I go, yeah, I have a degree in journalism from Syracuse. He goes, oh, good.
Uh-oh.
You might want to go back to that. And I was crying and upset. It was like my first year of comedy. And I was like, wow, that's so mean. And I asked a friend of mine, of course, another gay, and he said to me, consider the source. And he goes, I'm not saying that as a platitude. What is your source? I go, he's a guy who books a lot of comedy rooms in Holiday Inns in Long Island with a fake British accent. He goes, yeah, that's not the guy to listen to. And then I actually asked the right people. So Mike Royce, who ended up to be the producer of Everybody Loves Raymond, he was a comic at the time. And I asked him, and he goes, oh, you've got something. Mm-hmm. So, like, you go to the right people for the right answer.
Sure.
You know, so I learned early on, you listen. I remember this failed comic once said to me, you know, you say all those words like racial slurs, and he named what they were. Don't say that. That's wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to him. He's a failed comic. And I think I even said to him, because I was such a mean person at the time.
Right.
And I said, well, when I want advice, I'll ask somebody with a career.
Wonderful.
So, because it was just like a guy sort of telling me what to do. I resented anyone telling me what to do.
Sure. Did you make a conscious decision to say things that were shocking? Because
yes.
You had to break through in the beginning. I think that helps.
Because Rickles had this whole thing was his jokes were so over the top that you knew he couldn't mean them. So if he's saying something like, this is off Hello Dummy, he would say, his vinyl album, where he said, thank God for Mexicans or there wouldn't be filth. Now, that's clearly like so over the top that if he meant it, he'd be mentally ill.
Sure.
So I was like, oh, if my jokes are that insane, everybody's going to know they're jokes. So that's why I would go to the extreme.
Right.
But when you'd see a comic making fun of, like, say, only one ethnic group, you'd be like, I don't know. It sounds kind of like you hate Asian people. Like, what's happening with you?
Pretty sure this guy's racist.
Yeah.
We have to go to the break.
We have to go. We'll come back with Lisa Lampanelli in studio. Be sure to buy her tickets this morning before they sell out. The Fairfield Theater, 8 p.m. LisaLampanelli.com.
You found what was lost. This is Missed Headlines with Ethan and Lou on I-95, Story 1.
Just so you know, we're on Instagram Live right now at I-95 Rock. Our special guest in studio joining Missed Headlines is Lisa Lampanelli. She's coming to the Fairfield Theater 1 month from today, 8 p.m. Buy your tickets at lisalampanelli.com.
Okay, now you're going to want to put your headphones on.
We're going to do ooh, this is interesting.
All right, yesterday, Mike Tyson said the fight with Evander Holyfield is going down on May 29th. Mike is 54. Evander is 58 years old.
I just want everybody to know, the fight is on with me and Holyfield. And Holyfield's a humble man. I know that. He's a man of God, but I'm God's man. And I'm going to be successful May 29th.
Do they have anybody in their lives that says that this is terrible for your health? They don't. Neither one of them.
Well, not only that, you got to know when to pull the plug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to know when to step out of the ring. I did. They should too.
That's a good point. But listen, but Mike doesn't need the money anymore. He did have
I disagree.
You think?
I think all those guys, and I don't mean that in a racial sense.
Sure.
I mean all these athletes, these dummies. Look at MC Hammer. Well, he wasn't an athlete, but he was a dummy.
He was almost.
They spend all their money, and they still look like they live large, but he might need the dough.
Right.
You never know.
Who is the woman I like that does the thing?
Susie Orman. The big lesbian.
The woman I like who does the thing.
I tried. I guessed one lesbian.
That was a good shot.
Yeah.
That was a good shot.
Who is a woman?
She did radio. She has a talk show.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Sally Jesse.
Judge Judy.
Sally Jesse lives in the area. I'll come back to it later. I'll find it.
Wait, I must know.
This is not like me.
Come on.
She did hip hop radio, Black Lady.
Wendy Williams.
Wendy Williams.
That's my girl.
I love Wendy.
Yeah.
I think she's so talented. Anybody who doesn't see that is out of their mind.
You're right.
She's, well, from what I understand, I guess she put a book out or a movie.
Mm-hmm.
She's got no money.
Right. What happens is you spend too much or you get ripped off by people who are hangers-on. You have a divorce, whatever. I'm smart because I was raised by Depression-era parents and I saved money. So
but
you
did
can
Wendy
get
ever?
out.
You know Wendy?
Yeah, well, I've been on her show many times. She was always nice to me.
What I understand, she didn't make any money.
Well,
like,
radio,
they didn't pay
as
her.
you know, doesn't pay. You know, you do this for zero.
Sure.
Ian pays you in clam diggers and culottes. And I called you Ian, but I meant Ethan.
Nice.
I apologize because I see the I behind you for I-95.
He's going to let it go.
No, he knows I have love for him.
Ian,
you,
come
Lou,
on,
I
Ian.
have no love for you.
Well, we were talking about Michael Ian Black off the air, so that's
right.
It's a slip.
Listen, Michael Tyson, though, I'm not convinced he has money.
Right, okay.
I think some of these guys, you look up their net worth, it's never accurate.
Do we ever
Although
get over
sometimes, Lou, I will tell you, sometimes I look up other celebrities' net worth, and I'm happy mine looks like it's more, even though it's not.
Ooh, good question.
Like, I literally do that.
Lisa's perfect for this.
Yes.
You know what Cameo is?
Of course, and I did it only for Feeding America, the charity. I wouldn't do it unless it
How
was
much
for
did
charity.
you charge?
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably like $50.
Really?
But here's the deal with Cameo. I always thought you just recorded videos for your fans for free. Like, I come from that era that goes, hey, can you call my wife the C word in a video? And I'm like, gladly. So when COVID hit, I go, ooh, Cameo's been pursuing me. I don't want to do it because I think it makes you look bad to charge your fans.
Yeah.
But if it goes to charity, that's okay. I'm not a charitable person by nature. I got to
But
force
in
it a
your
little.
position, it's easy to do and be helpful.
Sure. So it gave, what was it, 30 grand to Feeding America?
Wow.
Great. But then guess what? It gets so freaking exhausting. You want to kill yourself being funny on demand for losers, and you're not even making any money. So I said, you know what? After 2 months of this, I said, oh, my God, I'm pulling the plug on this.
My wife wants us to do it. I think that's funny because I don't think we would qualify. But is there a qualification process for being famous enough to get on Cameo?
I was just famous enough, so
Sure.
I don't know how they do it. I think they let you do it, but it's, hey, if you make money, you make money. They take a cut, you take a cut. Who cares?
We're going to charge $5, so it's just going to be more work that we're not getting anything.
How about
for.
$4.95? See what I did there? $95, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
some of these
that's
people
what
are
happens.
crazy. You'll have like a D-list wrestler who's charging $500 a shot.
Who's the highest? Is Caitlyn Jenner still the highest?
What do they need to do that for?
Well, Caitlyn Jenner probably. Who knows how much money she saved?
Do you know that Kylie had a sick friend who
yeah.
needed a $60,000 surgery and started a GoFundMe page for her? She makes like $600,000 a day or something ridiculous.
Yeah, but
Just pay for
if
your
you
friends.
pay for every friend's surgery,
Yeah.
you're going to be broke. Not her.
Not her.
But, how about Kathy Griffin used to charge $500 and probably still does. I always thought she had enough money. People got bills to pay.
Sure.
Let me
Ethan
ask you a question.
Has a question.
Yes.
Do you want to continue with missed headlines, or are we done?
Oh, shoot.
yeah, let's
Look
keep
at us
going.
C block in the bed.
Okay, here we go.
Story 2.
Sorry, dude.
There's a guy named Jensen Karp. He's from L.A. He's a writer and comedian, and much more importantly, he's married to Danielle Fishel, who played Topanga on Boy Meets World.
I love her.
I love
She was so
Topanga.
hot.
Oh, that was such a boner moment for me in life at that
Me
age.
too.
Wow.
Just
yeah.
kidding. The brother was cute.
On Monday, Jensen opened a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and found 2 shrimp tails in the bag.
The opposite.
He
of what you
tweeted a
want.
photo, tagged Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They responded, quote, after further investigation, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when ingredients aren't thoroughly blended.
Come
we assure
on.
you there's no possibility of cross-contamination.
Yeah, there is, and they should give them a lifetime supply of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Well, here's my question.
Sure.
Speaking of money.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Oh, sorry.
When Jensen dumped out the rest of the bag, he found more shrimp tails,
No.
string, dental floss,
Ah!
and little black dots on the cereal.
Holy crap.
They were just missing Band-Aids.
Here's what I think. I've found hair in food, and I've gone, you know what? It's a one-time thing. Let me not shame these people publicly. So I was wondering if it was just 2 shrimp tails, I probably would have let it go and said, you know what? It's a mistake. I don't need the money from a lawsuit. I don't need to shame this company. But when you say all that, I say, yes,
Dental
Cinnamon
floss.
Toast. Shame on you. Do you think it was just a disgruntled employee who said, I'm going to F over the company?
Yes,
what I
and there should be a gruntled employee who checks those things.
Well, may I tell you?
Yes.
Remember when we were growing up, even though we're not the same age, Lou, you're way younger. Ethan, you're a little older. Remember there was always things about KFC. They would supposedly find a rat and somebody was at the movies and they were eating and it was a Kentucky Fried Rat. Do you think that was actually true or an urban legend?
Urban legend.
Because I love KFC. That's
I thought you
my
were going to say you
jam.
loved rats.
And
Well,
he
who
worked in
doesn't?
a hot dog factory, so he would know.
What?
Between semesters at college, I worked at Plymouth Rock. It doesn't around anymore. They made hot dogs and
Worst?
Did
Did they make worst? Our worst is the
no
best?
worst.
No.
No,
Did you find anything?
nothing.
See that? Hot dogs are good. I feed them to my dogs all the time.
My dogs. Not myself, but my dogs.
Right.
There you go.
Want to do the last one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Story 3.
2 women got into a brawl on an American Airlines flight in Phoenix during an argument over who was going to get off the plane first. Now, here's the audio of the passengers reacting to the fight and someone calling for help from law enforcement.
Call for law enforcement. Call for law enforcement.
Oh my God. Get up! Get up!
You know what you don't hear is audio from a flight that went well.
Well, first of all, Lou, I already apologized for acting that way.
Yeah, right.
Okay? No, if you had audio from every time I screamed at somebody on a plane, you would be horrified.
Someone said,
I've screamed at many women, not because they weren't going fast enough, because they had crying babies. And so I don't like that. But, women, calm down. Calm down. You never hear about 2 guys fighting on a plane
No.
about who's getting off
do you air
first.
travel well? Do you travel well?
Now
Or are you
I
really
do.
frustrated and yelling at
I
people
used
for
to
real?
be really douchey on planes
Yeah.
because I would feel bad for the baby that the mom wasn't attending to it, so I would have
Right.
to call them the C word and call them an entitled white C word from
Wow.
Westport, even though that's just something I make up in my
Okay.
head about them.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You need to tell Lisa the story of the pilot on one of your airplane rides.
Oh, my God.
What?
This guy, I hate when you are stuck on a subway, an airplane, anywhere where you're there, and the staff, especially on an airplane, feels the need to subject you to their stand-up comedy or their musical performance. So I was on a song flight. Remember Song Airlines?
Yes.
And I'm like, and I hate when people applaud because it just makes them
worst.
want to do it more.
Yeah.
So the pilot comes on. He's like, "We're going to be flying at 30,000 miles, and I just want to say hi to everybody. And I got my harmonica here.
No.
You know we fly.
No.
We get there on time. I'm like, shut up.
Well, that was my problem with Southwest. They all thought they were funny.
Right.
And it was disgusting.
Disgusting.
And I don't like it. I like people to sit down and shut up, which is also the name of my
your
show.
show.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, I like I like no personality in a flight attendant, except the gay
Right.
guy who always recognizes me, gives me extra food, and tells me stories about the other celebrities who've flown who are C-words.
Excellent. Beautiful.
I love that.
Nice.
No, I do not like when they know that you are you're stuck. You're a captive audience.
Captive.
Subways, they do this.
Yep,
Somebody comes on,
sure.
starts popping and locking. Everybody
I can't.
applauds. I'm more mad at the people that applaud than the people performing.
Because they're encouraging it.
Exactly.
They're, it's like applauding a rape. Stop raping my ears.
Yes, I
okay?
will not.
I don't like it.
I'm going to distance myself from that comment.
strong,
That's
but
not what
true.
it is. It's like, okay, I'll take it back. I'll walk it back. Like molesting my ears.
Oh, right.
All right. Much better.
That's right. You download it for free at Google Play or the App Store. And when you do, you can use the chat feature. And so many did this morning to send us well wishes for Lisa Lampanelli or questions for her. So thank you to those of you that did that. Lisa Lampanelli in studio for one more segment. Hey.
Buddy, I got to say, I like you guys so much more than when I walked in the door. I feel like I knew you a little bit,
'cause
and
we
now I know you. We have
communicating.
an actual discussion
Yeah.
on and off the air. I actually like you as people. Like up until then, I was like, I'll use them for some ticket sales. Now I'm like, I kind of like them. Now, I always liked Ethan, but now I actually like Lou.
How can you
see
not?
that.
Huh?
You know what? Very easily you can't, but I
well,
do.
I do need a break every once in a while.
You
but other
do.
than
You
that,
do.
Yeah, there's certain days he'll get up around like 8:30, and then he just he'll take as much time as he needs to
Yep.
get away from this room.
well, I'll go out and walk.
My energy has been described as unpleasant, manic, annoying.
No, you're manic.
Yeah, so
You weren't as manic today, though.
no, you don't think so?
No, I think you were great.
Oh, wow.
I think you
Now I
have
gotta figure out
found
what I
your
did right.
groove. You found your stride. I
Right.
think you're doing well.
Wonderful.
See
Look
that?
at this.
He's an overachiever.
I think he's just because he's off the booze and onto the sugar.
That-
It's like
that could
exactly
be.
what life should be.
I knew he was setting me up. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. though.
Okay.
The show is called Sit Down and Shut Up.
Right.
It's a month from today at the Fairfield Theater. You can get your tickets at lisalampanelli.com. What are people going to experience when they go to the show?
Well, first of all, you can either go to the show live in socially distanced seating, or you can live stream it, so you can get tickets for that too. It's going to be a sit-down conversation that's funny between me and this gay Greek comic Gus, who's fantastic.
You have to have a starting point, though. Where does it start? Where does each show start?
It's about food and weight. And then we go into why I retired. And then I coach the audience through their problems, give them very questionable advice that they should not follow. So it's humorous.
Do you call people names?
No, not anymore.
Really?
Except, good lead in, at the roast, at the end, I do a roast of people who actually deserve it. So to hear about those people, and it's not very political. It's more like people who are just a-holes in real life. Probably like those two women fighting on the plane.
Oh, yeah,
that type.
brutal.
One of my bones to pick, who I do roast, and I still say this, is people who get mad when a fat person sits next to them on the plane.
Why is that?
I get because you've got that screaming brat on your lap and you're worried about some love handles ruining your flight. Stop whining like a bitch. Tuck in your elbows and be happy you'll have something soft to bump into when the plane crashes.
But what if the overweight person is also an arm stealer? Like, who gets the arm? I've never really understood that.
You are a fat phobic, and I'm going to tell you something.
I was a fat.
Shut up.
No. I
Don't
was
interrupt
a.
me, Lou. I have something to say. And
I
I'm
was
gonna
a
complete
fat,
it.
so
Shut
I
up
can
and
do
sit
that.
there. And I will tell you, if you're overweight and you're listening to this, you will always have a seat next to Lisa Lampanelli. I like sitting next to fat people. They never talk because they're too busy chewing.
Well, there you have it. I think that's probably a good place to wrap
That's
up.
a great place. Go buy your tickets and see Lisa Lampanelli. You're going to sit down. You're going to shut up. It's going to happen a month from today at the Fairfield Theater in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Show starts at 8 o'clock. Again, get your tickets at lisalampanelli.com. It was a delight having you in again.
I
Thank
love
you.
you guys, seriously.
Let
I
me
feel
just
like we're friends
say this
Yes.
before you leave.
Yes.
Anytime you want to use us to sell some tickets, you're welcome on.
I love you guys. Yeah, thank you, seriously, man.
All right.
Awesome, Lisa. Thank you.
Thanks again.